What is good, FPL fam? Welcome back to another team selection video. Hopefully you had a great Game Week 36 plus and got around that century mark. But I got to admit, for me, it's been a strange couple of game weeks back to back. But there's only 2 left, so we have to make the most out of them that we can and climb the rankings. So before we get into the team review and team selection, I just want to thank you all for the support. I've officially made it to 50 subscribers, which I did not think I was going to do this season. Thank you all so much. I got to find a way that we could celebrate that a little bit. We'll figure out that later. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let's go ahead and jump into this. So as you can see here, here's my Game Week 36 plus squad. I'm going to end up with 48 points and a small green arrow with Aurier coming off the bench. But this was not all peaches and cream. My first 7 guys that I had play got me 13 points combined. That's with the triple captain. I would hope my triple captain would get more than 13 by himself. But Salah blanked. Now I know it's my first year at FPL, but I hear getting a blank for your triple captain is almost like your initiation. So I'm official FPL manager. It feels great to be here. I'm honored. But that sucked. Trent Alexander-Arnold was lucky to not see a red, in my opinion. Is what it is. He got 0 points. And for the second week in a row, Saiz held a clean sheet until like the 94th minute. And then my heart was broken with that penalty in the 94th. That sucked. De Bruyne and Mahrez both got benched and combined for 1 point. So I'm sitting here thinking, this is my mini league playoffs, and I was hurt. I felt like Rocky. I was getting beat up for 11 rounds, but then I rose like a phoenix. I came back with the United trio and my boy Danny Ings, and between Martial, Bruno, Rashford, and Danny Ings, I got 33 points between those guys, which is more than double what the first 7 did with the triple captain. So at the end of the day, to be able to see 48 points, honestly, it was a blessing, and I was able to pass and advance in my mini league playoffs. So I'm grateful for that. At the end of the day, a 450K rank, I'm trying to get it to 300K by the end of the year. Let's see how things go. My bench boost is in place, so let's go ahead and jump right into that. So here it is. The hype of the bench boost is real. My official Game Week 37 plus bench boost squad. I'm hoping and praying it goes better than my triple captain did last week. But at this point, you never know. Now, I'm going to be honest. I haven't fully selected my squad yet because I'm still tinkering with things. I have about 3 drafts I want you guys to see, and I want to ask for your guys' input on them, which one you think is the best. I have 2 free transfers ready to go. But before I get into that, I want to go into my untouchables. We'll start with Nick Pope in goal. Look, he's playing Norwich, and Norwich have already been relegated. Pookie's not playing anymore. Their players just don't seem to care. If there's ever a chance for Nick Pope to get a clean sheet, it has to be this game. I hope I didn't just jinx it and he gives up 2. But I got to say that Pope's the way to go right now. As far as defenders go, they're all up for grabs. If any of them leave, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I had more transfers, all of them would leave. They're definitely up for grabs. I'll get into that later. I still think my midfield is the best that I can get. De Bruyne and Mahrez were unfortunate victims of Pep Roulette this last weekend. And they do have an FA Cup semifinal match coming up this weekend. But I can't predict the future, so I'm going to roll with them. I don't know how they're going to do or if they're going to start in that game. I'm going to roll with them because I think they're the best that you can get. De Bruyne is world-class, best midfielder in the world. They're playing a Watford squad, and I know Watford are fighting for to not get relegated, but Man City are Man City, and they are the best team in the Prem at this moment. They are firing on all cylinders offensively. As long as De Bruyne and Mahrez are playing, they have to be playing in my squad. Now, some might say get rid of Mahrez and bring in David Silva. And I do like that thought, but I will get into that next week when I free hit. But for now, I'm sticking with Mahrez. I think that he's so electric. Now, Salah himself, Salah is a bit worrying because he hasn't come up with, well, I guess it's only been 2 weeks he hasn't scored. That's not that big of a deal. Liverpool, though, they are a bit scared. They do scare me a little bit. They don't seem to be playing with the passion they had. But I would hope that this Chelsea match, sorry Chelsea fans, ignites the Liverpool that we all know, and Salah comes out ready to go. In fact, I would even say that Salah has looked great these past couple game weeks. He just hasn't been able to score. I think he had like 7, if I saw on Twitter right, he had like 7 big chances these last 2 weeks. He's still playing well. He's still hungry for goals. I'm still rolling with Salah. Unless I want some money to throw around and bring in Son, maybe Sterling. I'm sticking with Mo Salah. I think he's the way to go. Actually, maybe I will bring in Sterling now that I mentioned that. As far as my United boys, they're staying. My United trio have done so well for me these past few game weeks, saving me. Bruno, although he does look fatigued, he's still Bruno Fernandes. He's still on every set piece. He's still on most likely penalties. He's facilitating every chance they have. Even though he has looked tired, he's still getting assists. He's only 8 point something million. As long as he's playing for United, he's playing for me. And it has to be mentioned that United are playing for their Champions League lives. And United have looked so good lately. I can't help but see them get in the Champions League. And they've got to be so hungry to get there. They have to keep playing. Even though they might be tired, they have to continue playing to get that Champions League berth. Martial, look, I know he's listed as a midfielder, but he's a forward, and he's got to be the most sought-for forward in the league right now. At his price, at 8 point something mil, he's involved in so many goals. He's involved in so many, whether it was scoring or whether it's assists. And look, they're playing at home. If you haven't noticed how big of a difference he does home versus away, I suggest you look that up. He is definitely a captain option this week playing West Ham. Look for him to have a big game week, knock on wood. Then you have Rashford. Now, Rashford is untouchable in my opinion. I thought that he's looked great these last few game weeks, and it is shown as far as him in his attacking returns. He looks so dynamic with the ball. He's making great runs again, and he's finally being able to put things together in that last little bit. I think he is untouchable. And then we have finally my boy Danny Ings. He's playing the game that we've all been waiting for against Bournemouth. But I'm going to be honest, Bournemouth have looked better than we give them credit for. Everyone's been saying target Bournemouth, target Bournemouth. But they went ahead and tied Spurs and beat Leicester. So I still think that Bournemouth could be a bit of a struggle. But look, it's Danny Ings and he wants that golden boot. I'm sticking with him. And so that is my untouchables. Those guys are going nowhere. Let's go ahead and jump into my drafts and see how I do there. So here's my first draft. I kind of want to bring in Wood for Burnley because they played Norwich, who one, look absolutely horrible defensively, and two, they look like on every set piece they're asleep, and Wood could be the guy that capitalizes. Now, in order for me to bring him in for Connolly, it's going to take me to drop either Salah or Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I don't want to drop Trent, and I know a lot of people saying that's probably the play, but I have a little bit of PTSD with that because the last time I dropped Trent dropped 24 points. I don't want to see that happen again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me. Actually, I don't know the phrase. Moral of the story is I don't want to get rid of him and see that happen again. But I do want to bring Wood in. I think he is a cheeky option and a great differential this week, especially because the next week after I'm free hitting. So anybody I bring in now is pretty much a 1 week punt. I think he could be a great option. If I do drop from Trent, I could go with Bally from Wolverhampton and double up on that defense. Or I could even go with Tarkovsky from Burnley and go triple Burnley, which I'm honestly hesitant to do because that is nerve-wracking if they play poorly, which they can, then I'll be hurting. So I might just go double Wolves defense there. And so that's the first draft I have. I think that one's probably the one I'm leaning towards the most. So here's my second draft. And I know I just said that Rashford is most likely untouchable, but this was my thought going into my wild card a couple game weeks ago. I was going to bring in Greenwood and Jimenez for Rashford and Connolly, but Rashford's looked so dominant these past couple game weeks, getting into great positions. He's finally putting things together in the attacking third. I just don't want to get rid of him, and I honestly think that Greenwood has done the opposite. I think Greenwood's trailed off a little bit, and his ankle injury does scare me. Ole seems to have a way with playing players through injury and kind of saying it's what you're expected. You saw it with Rashford in the back injury earlier this year. Maybe Greenwood's just kind of forcing his way in through this ankle injury, so I'm hesitant on that. He didn't look as good as he has been this last game week or two. So I am nervous bringing him in, but as far as Jimenez goes, I wish I could bring him in any other way. I could bank on him scoring this week against Crystal Palace. I think that he hasn't looked as good as he has been again, but again, he's still delivering. He's still getting attacking returns. And if I had to put my money on anyone scoring this week, Jimenez is going to be up there in the squad. I just can't justify getting rid of Rashford. He just won me he just got me in the next round in my mini league, so I'm kind of holding on to that a little bit. So for my third and final draft, this is going to be the biggest risk out of them all. But if you know me, I'm a no risk it, no biscuit kind of guy. I like to go for things, and it all revolves around Nketiah. At that price at $4.3 million, I think he could be a good buy, and this is why. Arsenal have a huge match on Saturday at their FA Cup semifinals, and Arsenal are already out of Europe. They have nothing to play for in the Prem. This is their season. if they want to bring home any hardware or consider this a good season, they need to win this FA Cup. So they're going to be playing their best guys. Aubameyang's going to play. Lacazette's going to play. I don't know who you're going to say, Pepe or Saka, who's better at this point, at this moment. One of those guys are going to play. They're all going to be super tired, especially considering how back-to-back these games have been since the restart. So who better to come in next game week than a fully rested, just coming off a suspension, Nketiah? Not to mention, this is a chance for Arteta to see how he plays and see, kind of get him some more experience in the Prem. I think he has a great opportunity to get some good minutes. And when he has played, he has looked pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Now, in order to bring in Nketiah, I have to drop someone down, and it's going to be off my back line. And this one shows me getting rid of my keeper and Schmeichel. Now, Schmeichel plays Tottenham Hotspurs. And if Spurs got zero goals, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But also, if they scored 6, I still wouldn't be surprised because the Spurs are the most wild card team in the Prem. And I kind of don't want to be involved in that headache. So if I drop down to Patricio, who plays Crystal Palace, or I could even drop down to Martinez, who, like Nketiah, plays against Aston Villa, I think that could be great options for me. Now, do I want to drop down Schmeichel and waste a transfer on a keeper? Maybe not. I could also get rid of Digne. If I get rid of Digne, I could bring in Tarkowski from Burnley, who, again, has a great opportunity to clean sheet. Or if Aurier can't play, and again, we're all with you, my man. I know this is a horrible time you're going through. Incredibly strong of you to play. If you don't play the rest of the season, we all understand. But if you can't, I could drop Aurier down to Eric Peters from Burnley. So those are kind of my options between those three if I bring in Nketiah. So I don't know exactly where I'm going to go. So those are my drafts. As far as captaincy goes, I've been so bad at picking captains since the restart. I don't know if I've gotten one that got more than 6 points since. So I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just let you guys decide. Whatever gets the most comments, I'll captain. I'll just trust that. I even kind of joked about it on Twitter about changing all my ex's names into change it to Mahrez or Martial or Salah. And whatever woman texts me first, that will be my captain. Now, that would make for some great content, but I don't know if I want to deal with the headache of receiving those texts, if I'm being honest. But that would be a hilarious way for me to pick a captain, and it'd probably work better than the choice that I'm going to go with. But as of right now, I'm probably going to go with De Bruyne. I just think he's going to be rested. So there you have it. There's my official Game Week 37 plus squad. Let me know which draft you think is best for me to use my bench boost on. And keep in mind, I do have my free hit that I'm using next week. And if you're going to tell me get rid of Digne for Tarkowski, I'm going to listen and do it. That's how close I am to doing that. Anyway, thank you so much for the love you've shown me for this past 3 weeks that I've had this channel. It's meant so much to me. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this. And have a great Game Week 37 plus. Hopefully you get to that 100 mark. That'd be fantastic. And before I leave, I want to say, Dion, happy birthday. He's a big Real Madrid fan. Congrats on Madrid winning it all. Also, I'm a Barcelona fan, so I'm upset at you for that, and I'm upset at you for triple captaining Aubameyang 2 weeks ago and beating me in mini league. Have a great Game Week 37 plus, y'all. And as always, Don out.